تكذيب الرسل وما جاءوا به, to deny or to belie messengers and what they brought of mission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anybody that will deny the message of Allah, the person becomes a kafir. That's why those that will go to sorcerers and tellers are considered kuffar, because that is enough to render their iman invalid. Rasul says, "Man ata kahinan aw arrafan fasaddaqahu bima yaqul faqad kafara bima anzala Allahu ala Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam." Anybody that will go to sorcerer or a fortune teller or a magician, he tells you things and you believe in it, so the person has certainly faqad kafara. He has certainly disbelieved in what was revealed to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That will render the person's iman invalid. Another thing that will render one's iman invalid is bughdur rusuli wa ma ja'u bihi. You hate a messenger. You hate a messenger. Some out of ignorance, they do it. You see, most Christians on campus or in different places, they will be writing Jesus, right? Like a particular person, an elderly person, I was shocked. We were having some discussion in the mosque. We were talking about the fact that a Muslim, before you can be a sound Muslim, you must believe in all the messengers, you must all respect and regard them. He said, is it wrong for him if a Christian insults our prophet that we should also insult their own prophets? That if a Christian, as a non-Muslim, insults Muhammad sallallahu, won't we fight back by insulting Jesus Christ? I say, have a brother. Jesus is not theirs, it's ours too. Don't insult him. So he can do that out of annoyance. He may not know the consequences. So all the messengers are ours. Aman Rasulullah Rabbi wal mu'min kullun amana billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi, right? You believe in all the messengers. So hating a particular messenger will render one's iman invalid. Another thing that will nullify one's iman is al-istihza'u bid-din wa sha'a'ilillah. To make jests or to mock at the affairs of the deen. When you mock at the affairs of the deen, whether the messenger or the Quran or a believer or a sister that is well addressed in an Islamic way, you use that to mock at the person. That is enough to render one's iman invalid. Please, we should be very, very careful with that. A brother kept beards. You say it's looking like a goat. People are very much used to doing those things. Sister puts on niqab, we call her what? Ninja. All sort of things. All of these are things that are enough to render one's iman invalid. Rasul and the companions came back from the battlefield. They stopped somewhere to eat and rest. The Munafiqun were saying, we have never seen sets of people that can eat too much food like the reciters of the Quran. Making jest of who? Of the companions, the reciters. They didn't look at the Quran directly, but they say like the reciters. That means the reciters are related with what? They are related to the Quran. Allah was not happy with that. Allah told the Rasul that look at what they are saying. وَلَئِنْ سَأَلْتَهُمْ لَيَقُولُنَّ إِنَّمَا كُنَّا نَخُوضُ وَنَلْعَبُ. If you should call them and ask them, why are you doing those things? They will say they will just cracking jokes. Don't tell them, Abillahi wa Rasuli wa ayati wa Rasuli kuntum tastahzi'un. Are you using Allah, His Messenger, and His verses to mock us to joke? Allah said, La ta'tadiru. Tell them you have no any excuse. قَدْ كَفَرْتُمْ بَعْدَ إِيمَانِكُمْ. You have committed an act of disbelief after you have believed. Before you were moving on, as in you embrace Islam, but now you have committed what? An act of disbelief. It's not all of them that were equal. Some were carried away by the sweetness of the nature of the jokes they were cracking. Allah said, Inna afu an ta'ifatin minkum nu'adhib ta'ifa. If at all we should forgive some, because they didn't mean what they truly said, some will surely be punished for what they have done. Because they were authentic hypocrites. So istihza, making jest or mocking at anything that has to do with Islam, is enough to render one's iman invalid. Muwalatul kufar wa ya'anatim al-muslimin. To become an ally of the non-Muslims to the extent that they can partner with you to harm the Muslims. That is equally enough to render one's iman invalid. Adam urida bi hukmillah, not being pleased with Allah's judgments. Allah passed a judgment, a verdict, a solution to a problem, and you felt you are not comfortable with that, that's also enough to render one's iman invalid. Allah will say to Nisa, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ, I swear by your Lord Muhammad sallallahu لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ, they are yet to believe, حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُم, till when they make you to be the judge of their affairs. ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا, not only making you the judge, and they should not feel uncomfortable in anything you pass. وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا, and they submit willingly, completely. That's what will make one to be a sound believer. Otherwise, this is not considered to be a good believer. Then the last one I have here is تَكْذِيبُ وَعْدَ اللَّهِ وَوَعِيدِهِ. Allah will say that He's going to reward or He's going to punish. He say they are just saying it. It's not true. It's not real. That is enough to also render one's iman invalid. Number 4, what are the benefits of iman? If one becomes a believer, have a sound iman, what will that pay him? Allah will say in the Quran, Surah Al-An'am, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُم بِظُلْمٍ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those who believe, وَلَمْ يَلْبِسُوا إِيمَانَهُم بِظُلْمٍ, they never mix their iman with any act of injustice. They have a sound iman, sound belief. Allah say, أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ, those are the ones that are at peace with me. وَهُمْ مُهْتَدُونَ, and they are the ones that are guided. That means one of the greatest benefits of iman is that you will be at peace with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then Allah ta'ala consider you guided. That means anybody that's not having iman is having a lot of troubles to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And secondly, the person is not in any way guided. The other verse is saying, وَمَنْ لَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ فَإِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِكَافِرِينَ سَعِيرًا. Anybody that failed to have belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah said, فَإِنَّا أَعْتَدْنَا لِكَافِرِينَ سَعِيرًا, we have indeed prepared and preserved a blazing fire for those category of people. Iman is what saved you from that blazing and severe burning fire. Then number 5 is increase and decrease in iman. Iman used to increase and decrease. So we say that iman increase with increase in action and decrease with what? With decrease in action. Iman yazid bi zati al-a'mal wa yanqus bi naqsiha. Your faith to iman will increase as you do more of good, and it will decrease as you do more of bad, or when you begin to decline in doing what is good. So what determines the upliftment, the increase in your iman, is that if you engage in doing what is good. Allah Ta'ala will say in the Quran, وَإِذَا مَا أُنْزِلَتْ سُورَةٌ, whenever a chapter is being reviewed in the Quran, the kuffar will look at the Muslims. They will say, أَيُّكُمْ زَادَتْهُ هَٰذِهِ إِيمَانًا, who amongst you got any increase in iman because of this that has been revealed? Allah says, فَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا فَزَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا وَهُمْ يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ. Those that believe, when the surah comes, it will increase their iman, of course. That is Quran confirms that iman do increase and do decrease. Allah will say, هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم. They already have iman. Allah Ta'ala revealed what? Allah Ta'ala sent tranquility as sakina in them. Why? Allah says, ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم, so that they will have increase in iman upon the one they were having earlier before. So iman do increase and do what? And do decrease. Let's work towards getting our iman increase. May Allah Ta'ala see us through. Number 6 is the sign of Allah Ta'ala's love for His servants. Iman is one of the things that will determine the love of Allah Ta'ala as in for you. Rasul will say, Inna Allah yu'ti dunya liman yuhib wa liman la yuhib. Allah used to give worldly things to those He loves and even the ones He don't love. You can see an unbeliever that is enjoying more than you. That's worldly material, as in worldly things. If an unbeliever can enjoy more than you, that is not the criteria of determining what the love Allah is having for you. And you can actually see an unbeliever that is suffering as well. It do happen. It happens during the time of Hassan al-Basri. A particular Jew, very poor, suffering, met Hassan al-Basri one day when he was on his horse, a dawn horse. He was moving about. The man met Hassan al-Basri. He's asking, is it true that your prophet said that ad-dunya sijnul mu'min wa jannatul kafir, that the world is a prison to a believer, to a Muslim, and it's a paradise to the unbelievers. He said, yes, he has truly said so. So, but why are you enjoying if you are in prison and suffering if I'm in paradise? Why? He said, no. If you compare this my enjoyment now, that I'm enjoying as a believer now, compared to the one that awaits me in the hereafter, I'm in the prison. And if you compare this your suffering on earth here with the one that awaits in the hereafter and the paradise, you don't know. You think you are suffering, right? See, you're not suffering. When you go there, say, truly I was in the paradise on the earth. That's what you don't believe that. So please don't use material things to determine Allah's love for someone. Allah can let you live a very life of hardship. That does not mean He didn't love you. It's a test. Allah will say, وَنَبْلُوكُمْ بِالشَّرِّ وَالْخَيْرِ فِتْنَةً وَإِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ. We will test you with the two, the good and the bad. So it should serve as what? A fitna, a test to you. Finally, you shall all return back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But وَلَا يُؤْتِ الْإِيمَانَ إِلَّا لِمَنْ يُحِبُّ. Allah will never give iman except to those whom He loves. Allah Ta'ala puts part of them. That's that. Then the next one we have is Al-Amal Salihah. We say that Alladhina amanu wa amilu salihat, right? Iman and Amal Salih. Now I want to look at the concept of Amal Salih. We are to stop by 10:30. I'm trying to rush this. We are to stop by 10:30. Al-Amal Salihah, righteous actions. What are Amal Salihah? The other word you can use for Amal Salihah is Al-Ibadah. Worship. Al-Ibadah or Amal Salihah is anything that Allah Ta'ala is pleased with. Of statements, of actions, the open and the hidden ones. That's all. كل ما يحبه الله ويرضاه من الأقوال والأفعال الظاهرة والباطنة. All that Allah Ta'ala loves and is pleased with, of statements and actions, the hidden and the open ones, is what is considered Amal Salih. That's why Amal Salih are two categories. We have A'mal al-Qulub and we have A'mal al-Abdan or al-Jawari. The second point is the conditions of accepting one's deed. If you want your deed accepted, it must fulfill three conditions. Number one, it must have an approval. Allah Ta'ala asks you to do it, the messenger asks you to do it. If you do it, then you'll be rewarded. It becomes Amal Salih. Allah never asks you to do it. The Sunnah asks you to do it, it cannot become Amal Salih. Nobody should ever prescribe an act of ibadah for you and you begin to flow and be doing it. The person cannot reward you. The only one that rewards Amal Salih is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so once you do it without his approval and that of his messenger, the person is on his own. Even when Allah says you say you should do this and you do that thing, but you add or subtract, Allah will let you go with your action. It must be the way He wants it. Sorry, there must be a command in that act. Number two must be sincerity. Even if you have done it, the way that Allah wants you to do it and the messenger, then you must be sincere in doing it. If there's no sincerity, Allah Ta'ala is not in need of your own action. Then the last one is that should be mutaba'ah. It must fall in line with the teachings of the Messenger Sallallahu. You have done it, but it is not in line with the one who has done his own. Allah will reject your own back to you. Allah Ta'ala save us all. Number three is the forms of righteous deeds. Forms of righteous deeds are of two categories. There are the ones that the body, you can use your body, your physical body outward to do, and then we have the inner righteous actions. For the outward, the ones you do open, there are many. You have the salah, the prayer you offer. It's a physical act. It's amal al-badi, what the body observes. You have the obedience to your parents. Kind to them, you wash their clothes, they send you, you assist them. You have what? Recitation of the Quran. You have what again? You have as-sidq, telling the truth and acting upon the truth. You have the tasbih. You have attending what? Islamic gatherings. You have feeding food, waking up at night to pray. Anything at all that is considered righteous in Islam, if you do it, you'll be rewarded. You tie your kinship. You relate well with your brothers and sisters, with your relatives. You do anything that is known to be good, you have the word for that. It's called A'mal Salihah al-Zahira. Then the Batina, number one, is the Iman. It's in the heart. It's in the mind. Iman is in the heart. That was why when Usama ibn Zayd and other companions went to the battlefield, a particular non-Muslim, as at that time, was fighting them. When they were able to get rid of him, they were about to kill him. He said, La ilaha illa Muhammad Rasulullah. Usama still went ahead to kill the person. When they came back, they told the Rasul. Rasul was seriously disturbed about the situation. He said, أَقَتَلْتَهُ بَعْدَ أَنْ قَالَ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. You kill him after uttering the shahada. He said, Rasul, he said it to save himself. Rasul said, have you seen what is in the mind? Why don't you open the heart and see? What are you talking about? Al-Iman is in the heart. Nobody knows the true Iman but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then ikhlas, sincerity, is part of the righteous action that one needs to have in the mind. وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ. Ikhlas should be in the mind as well. Then al-hub, love. You have love for Allah, love for the messenger, love for your fellow Muslims, love for the deen. All these kind of things, something about all this love is part of what? Part of an amal salihah, but amal qulub. You have a tawakkul, reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is also considered to be part of what? Part of amal qulub. You have the khashiyah, fear of Allah, patience is there, and ithar, preference, you prefer your brother over yourself. You have al-ilmu, endurance, and many more. So all the things that have to do with the mind that are good are considered acts of worship, provided they have basis in the Quran or Sunnah or Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Next point is don't be deceived. Don't be deceived. Allah Ta'ala will say in the Quran, Ya ayyuhan nasu inna wa'adallahi haqq, fala taghurrannakum al-ayatu ad-dunya wa la yaghurrannakum billahi al-ghurur. All you mankind, Allah Ta'ala's promise is the truthful one. Of either rewarding or punishing. Is truthful, is certain, is established. What is required from you is to believe and to act. Allah's promise is truthful. Because of that, فَلَا تَغُرَّنَّكُمُ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا, never let the life of this world deceive you. وَلَا يَغُرَّنَّكُم بِاللَّهِ الْغَرُورُ, never let the chief deceiver to deceive you. Inna shaitan lakum aduwwun. Shaitan is your true enemy. He's trying to serve as a barrier between you and believing, to serve as a barrier between you and acting righteously. Inna shaitan lakum aduwwun fattakhiduhu aduwwa. Consider him to be your open enemy. Innama yad'u hizbahu liyakunu min ashabis sa'ir. The greatest and the only work of the shaitan is to ensure that he carry you along with him into where? Into adab sa'ir, a very severe punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we should be very, very careful. Allah Ta'ala will say, it's not only shaitan, shaitan needs to do his own part, and he needs to have agents even among the mankind and the jinn kind. So we should be watchful. Your iman and your amal salih matters a lot to you. Allah Ta'ala will say, وَيَوْمَ الْأَبْدُ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ يَقُولُ يَا وَيْلَتَى يقول what? لَمْ أَتَّخِذْ فُلَانًا خَلِيلًا وَيَوْمَ يَعَضُّ الظَّالِمُ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ. And the day that an unjust person, someone that has wronged himself, يَعَضُّ عَلَى يَدَيْهِ, will bite his words, not finger. Allah say يَدَيْهِ, not يَدِهِ. On any say that Ya'adu is to be ahu, you are biting your finger. It's a sign of what? Regrets. But Allah say Ya'adu zalim ala yadayhi. The one that wronged himself will bite his what? His two hands. How the two even imagine that you might bite the two? That means that is the peak level of regrets. Ya'adu zalim ala yadayhi, not yadihi, his two hands. Yaqul him say Ya laytani ittakhaztu ma'a ar-rasul sabila. How I wish I trained the path of the messenger. How I wish I followed the path of who? Of the messenger. Ya laytani ittakhadhtu ma'a rasul sabila. You say, Ya waylata laytani lam attakhidh fulanan khalila. You say, how I wish I never hold so person to be my friend. That means Shaitan has what? Agent in from amongst what? Mankind. لَقَدْ أَضَلَّنِي عَنِ الذِّكْرِ. He has misleaded me. He has prevented me from holding on to Allah Ta'ala's remembrance. بَعْدَ إِذْ جَاءَنِي, after it was so clear to me. Allah said, وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِلْإِنسَانِ خَذُولًا. That's how Shaitan will push someone into what? Into disgrace. So we should be watchful and be mindful and never let ourselves be deceived by the influence of the Shaitan and that of us. وَقَالَ الشَّيْطَانُ. Then the final form of regret will come over when everything happens. When those in the Jannah get to the Jannah, and those going to the hell found themselves in the hell, people will start saying what? It is Shaitan that caused all this. Even on earth, it's like that. Something happened, you are regretting. You say that you are the cause, you are the cause. After entering the hell, those kind of pushing blames will start. Shaitan is the cause why we are in the hell. Who will start saying that? Allah says, "Wa Shaitan." Shaitan, when he hears that, he will say, "Lamma ubiya al-am." After all has happened, he will say, "Inna Allah wa'adakum wa'ad al-haq, wa wa'adtukum fa'akhlaftukum." See, I don't want to hear that again. Allah has promised you a true promise in the Quran. Allah told you, "Inna shtarakum aduwwan fattakhidhu aduwwa. Inna ma yad'u hizbahu liyakunu min as." Allah told you, "Alam ahad ilaykum ya bani Adama alla ta'budu shaytan." All things have happened. He said, "Inna Allah wa'adakum wa'adan haq." Shaytan is saying this. Allah promised you what? Truthful promise. Wa wa'adtukum. And I came and gave you a false promise. فَأَخْلَفْتُكُمْ. Of course, being a false promise, I have failed you. He said, وَمَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ سُلْطَانٍ. I didn't use any physical power to attract you. إِلَّا دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. I only made a call and you answered. He will ask you, "Did you see me holding you, dragging you to go to party? You ever see me?" You say no. مَا كَانَ لِي عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ. I never force anybody. إِنَّمَا دَعَوْتُكُمْ فَاسْتَجَبْتُمْ لِي. I make a call. See an empty box to the hellfire, and you all enter. There was no space. Some still climb up. There was no space. Some had the tire. Say, "Fala talumuni walumu anfusakum." I don't want to hear any. Nobody should blame me again. Walumu, blame yourself. That's Shaitan. He made a call. You follow Shaitan. You abandon your faith. You abandon your amal salih. Because of that day of Al-Qiyamah, one will regret when the regret is of no use. May Allah Ta'ala save us from falling victim of that kind of situation. Then Amaru Sayyi'ah, evil acts. As you try to do as much as you can of good, you should also try as much as you can to abstain from evil acts. Because the evil acts will one day spoil your mind. Rasul was preaching a lot in Mecca. They refused to believe and accept. Rasul was wondering, the truth is so clear. Why don't you believe? Allah said, "Kalla, bal rana ala qulubihim ma kanu yaksibun." Rasul, don't worry. It was what they have been doing that has piled up, and sealed their hearts. The truth cannot penetrate into the hearts. The same thing Rasul said, if you commit any evil acts, nukitat fi qalbihi nukuta sauda. A black drop we place in your heart. This is Iwatiba. If you do one evil act, a single drop of black ink will be dropped on the paper. What will happen? Will it only affect the very point? It will spread a little, right? The person has not repented. He does another evil act. Another one will drop there. It will spread again, right? But so say you do another one, they'll drop another one again. With time, what happened? The whole heart will get sealed. With what? With that evil paint of evil acts. From that day, you keep talking and talking and talking and talking. You preach from morning till evening. The person will not reason with you. He will even tell you, "See, brother, I understand what I'm talking about. I just don't have time for that for now. I just don't have time for that for now." So please, whenever you are being called to what is right, what you are convinced is true, please accept it. If you think you have time, you will later come back to it. You won't be given the chance to do it. Allah Ta'ala said, وَأَقْسَمُوا بِاللَّهِ جَهْدَ أَيْمَانِهِمْ لَإِنْ جَاءَتْهُمْ آيَةٌ لَيُؤْمِنُنَّ بِهَا. They swear with all commitment that when the truth comes to us later, we are going to believe. Allah said, why should they say that? Why should they say such? Allah said, وَمَا يُؤْمِنُكُمْ وَمَا يُشْعِرُكُمْ أَنَّهَا إِذَا جَاءَتْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. So who tells you? Do you think if the truth should come to them later, they will believe? Allah said, they will not believe. Why? Allah said, we are going to do the work ourselves. We are going to block the hearts. We'll never let it embrace the truth. But when the truth is clear to you, please take it at that very time. If you say later may be very, very translate for someone. Allah Ta'ala is our hafiz. Then the evil act we're talking about are of levels as well. There are evil act that has to do with what? With the body, and one has to do with what? With the heart. The heart is very, very sensitive. Rasul will say, Inna fil jasadi mudghah. إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله وإذا فسدت فسد الجسد كله ألا وهي القلب. That's a particular flesh in the body. Once the flesh becomes good, the entire body becomes good. And if the flesh happens to go bad, the entire body goes bad. He said that very flesh is what? Is the heart. Once the heart is clean and pure, then what you be seeing in the body of the owner of the heart is righteous actions. Someone committing evil acts. You preach to the person, brother, sister, this is wrong. You say, attack our harm, right? God fearing is in the mind. If your mind is good, then let it translate in the life of your body. That's what say, إذا صلحت صلح الجسد كله. If truly the heart is good, then good as should be seen in the limbs. وإذا فسدت فسدت كله. If it's bad, then what we are going to see outward is evil actions. So one should not say attaqwa hahuna and begin to do wrong. What you do outward translate to what is in someone's mind. Allah Ta'ala is our hafiz. Let's look at the a'mal al-badaniyya, the a'mal, the physical act that one will do that can make a person to have his iman at risk. Make it difficult for a person to access the Jannah. The greatest one we have talked earlier about is ashirk, committing shirk. That one will render one's iman invalid completely. Then the other ones I want to make mention of, they are just amalu sayyi'ah. Let's not say they are just. They are not just, but they are amalu sayyi'ah. They are evil acts. They are sinful acts. One I have after shirk day in the list is zina, committing zina. Zina with all its forms. The major zina and the other ones that lead to the major one. Zina is so terrible. There's a saying that the greatest sin after al-ishraku billah, committing shirk, is nutfatun wada'aha rajulun fi rahim lan tahillu lahu. Is for a man to drop his sperm in a womb that does not belong to him. Zina is very, very terrible. Allah will say, wala taqrabu zina. He didn't say wala tazunu. He said, wala taqrabu az-zina. Don't go close to zina. He didn't say don't do zina. Don't go close to it. Allah has done a lot to ensure that we don't go into zina. He told the women the kind of clothes they should wear. He told the men to lower their gaze. He told the women to lower their gaze. He will say, "Qul lil mu'minin," that's the Rasul. يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ وَيَحْفَظُوا فُرُوجَهُمْ. يَغُضُّ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. They should what? Lower their gaze. Don't shine your eyes everywhere. Rasul told the companions, إِيَّاكُمْ وَالْجُلُوسَ فِي الطُّرُقَاتِ. Avoid sitting by the roadside. They say, Ya Rasulullah, my name is Nabud. That's where we used to meet and discuss and any other place together and discuss issues. He said, in Abayutsum, if you are insisting you must sit there, then try and deliver the right of the road. They ask, what are the right of the road? Number one, he said what? Gabul Basar. You have to do what? Lower your gaze. Don't shine your eyes everywhere. You start looking at her, she should disappear. She should disappear. You enjoy looking at her. And that will not in any way solve your problem. It will solve your problem. The other Tara is our address. So zina of all its forms, the zina of faruj, the zina of the eyes, the zina of the ears, the zina of the hand, the zina of the leg. Don't listen. There are ladies that you actually don't even see them, but by mere hearing their voice, you get confused. They have very touching way of talking. She talk. What kind of woman being is this? She has very melodious voice. She attracts with her voice. And some is when you see them, you admire them. And some when they walk, you begin to look at them, you don't admire. Rasul will tell the companions, if you ever see a woman and she fall in your heart, Rasul say, leave her alone. Rush and go back and meet your own wife. There's nothing in her that you cannot find in your wife. That's if you are married, right? You rush and go back to a wife at home. So you have what your problem solved. And you don't have wife. Must you stay by the roadside? Remain in your room. and get yourself covered. That's all. That's a good rule, min absarim, right? You could lower your gaze. Not only the males. You say, well, only the mu'minat. Tell the believing women as well. يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ. They should also lower their gaze. وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ. And they should also safeguard their chastity. They should not go into something zina. What are things that will attract you? Her appearance. Allah told them, وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. They should never express their adornment. إِلَّا بِبُعُولَتِهِنَّ أَوْ آبَائِهِنَّ أَوْ آبَاءِ بُعُولَتِهِنَّ أَوْ أَبْنَائِهِنَّ أَوْ what? أَبْنَائِهِنَّ أَوْ إخوانهن أو بني إخوانهن أو بني أخواتهن أو نسائهن أو ما ملكت أيمانهن أو التابعين غير أولي الرجال أو الطفل الذين لم يظهروا عورات النساء. Allah Ta'ala continue ولا يضربن بأرجلهن ليعلم ما يخفين من زينتهن. They should not be walking and be making some sound. You know, she will put a skirt or a wrapper that's going to be very tight. She's moving, so she will attract you. A woman is person, it's not a male. Be attracted. Allah said they should not do that. But Allah knows our weakness. So if at all you have done any before, وَتُوبُوا إِلَى اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا أَيُّهَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. You have done some in the past. Repent. And don't go back into it if you want to truly succeed. Allah is our advice. Rasul will say, مَنْ يَضْمَنِّي مَا بَيْنَ لحييه وفخذيه أضمن له الجنة. Anybody that will guarantee me good use of what is between his jaws, the upper and the lower jaw, that is tongue, and what is between his laps, that is what private parts. As we say, أضمن له الجنة. I'm guaranteeing the person al Jannah. Guarantee me good usage of your tongue and your private parts. You never commit zina. You not use your tongue in the wrong way. As we say, I promise you al-Jannah. That's very, very difficult, right? Very, very difficult. Now that Allah is our office. Then another form of sin is uqul walidain. Uqul al-walidain. Being disrespectful to your parents. You don't give them their rights. If the parent Allah Ta'ala joins all rights and deaths in the same part of the Quran, Allah will say, Anishkurli waliwalidayka ilayya al-masir. Look at the nature of the verse. Be thankful to me. Be thankful to your parents. Ilayya al-masir, your return is back to me. What does that mean? If you fail to do it, you come and meet me. Right? That is the consequences. Anishkurli waliwalidayka ilayya al-masir. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. Then what? That's how great parents are. Rasul will say, رِضَى اللَّهِ فِي رِضَى الْوَالِدَيْنِ وَسُخْطِ اللَّهِ فِي سُخْطِ. There was a time a particular person met Ibn Abbas. He said, يَا ابْنَ عَمِّ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ. Oh, you the son of the uncle of the messenger. I am in a very big trouble. Advise me on what to do. He said, what is your problem? He said, there was a woman I so much love. I put a lot of efforts to marry her, but she disappointed me. She rejected me. Someone that is not up to me came to her. She accepted him. She wanted to marry the person. Jealousy made me to finally kill her. Let everybody lose. That was what he did. He said, I'm disturbed. Is there any way out? He said, is your mother alive? That was the question. He said, no, she has died. He said, if she's not alive, go and do as much as you can of goodness and seek Allah's forgiveness. When the man left, Mujahid ibn Jabr was there, one of the students of Ibn Abbas. He said, I can see you asking about his mother. Why? He said, فَوَاللَّهِ لَا أَعْلَمُ عَمَلًا أَحَبَّ إِلَى اللَّهِ مِنْ بِرِّ الْوَالِدَةِ. See, wallahi, I don't know any act of ibadah that is as beloved to Allah as being kind to your mother. None at all. None at all. Your salah, your fasting, your everything. If you didn't respect your mother, wallahi, Jannah will not be as a place for you. Rasul will say, Al-Walid awsata abwab al-Jannah. Fa in shi'ta fa'adhi' dhalika al-bab aw hifar. Your parents are the ones occupying the middle gate of the Jannah for you. If you wish, neglect them, you won't enter the Jannah. If you wish, obey them, you enter the Jannah. Says it. So parents must be obeyed. Disobedience to parents will deny someone at the Jannah. May Allah Ta'ala let us be obedient to our parents. Qawl zur, blatant lies, is one of the major sins that one can ever commit with this one place on the body, especially the tongue. Tongue is very, very terrible. Very, very terrible. There was a time Rasul was telling Mu'adh ibn Jabal, this is a companion Rasul as in love so much. Rasul told him, Kuffa alayka hada, be mindful of this. He said, Ya Rasulullah, wa inna la mu'akhadun ma takallamu bihi. Do you mean we can be all responsible for what we use in talking? He said, talking that come on. You are not going to talk that to Mu'adh ibn Jabal. I don't expect that from you. وهل يكب الناس في النار على وجوههم أو على مناخرهم إلا حصائد ألسنتهم. Nothing will ever make someone to enter hellfire with the head first or in nostril. To enter hell like an arrow, head first, the other body follows. Anybody entering hell like an arrow, it was the harvest of what the tongue has committed. Anybody entering hell with the head first, he is harvesting what his tongue has. He's reaping what the tongue has harvested for him. So may Allah Ta'ala is our affairs. We stop there. Let me rush and call the traps of the Shaitan. Shaitan has 7 traps that he used in misleading humanity. Shaitan has chosen the first trap to be a shirk. He will want you to commit shirk. Because Allah Ta'ala will say, وَمَنْ يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةَ. Shaitan has chosen shirk to be the number 1 trap. Because once he gets you through shirk, he is going to have a permanent friend in the hellfire. If Allah Ta'ala makes you succeed to escape that trap, the second one is going to be al-bid'ah, to make you to commit yourself into innovation. Because once you do innovate, once you commit yourself into innovation, your actions will be rendered invalid, no reward for you. Man amila amalan laysa alayhi amruna fahuwa raddun. Number 3 is al-kaba'ir, in major sins. If you escape that one, then you set the trap of minor sins for you. If you escape that one, ishtigal bil mubahat, make you to commit yourself into what is halal. It's halal, but you use that to waste your own time. If you escape that one, something the last is that you will then set the trap of making you to go for actions that are less rewarding, and you leave them that are what much rewarding. Then finally, if you can't get you in all these 6 traps, he will wait for you at the point of death. May Allah is our hafiz and forgive our sins. What we say will be shown, may Allah Ta'ala reward abundantly. What we say that we shown, may Allah Ta'ala forgive our mistakes and take it away from our mind. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Takbir, Masya Allah. Please let's say Masya Allah for our sake. Allah will be Allah. As we informed you earlier, inshallah, our scholar is going to be on video now. And let's invite him in our prayers. We pray that Allah will certainly to this donation. And before the next speaker, please let's give rooms for question at least 2. 1, I think number another. Brothers, any question from the brother side? Okay.
Bismillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Now, I want to know, what about if someone is obedient to both parents who are not Muslim? Can someone enter Jannah through them?
Alhamdulillah, thank you very, very much. It's a very important question. We say to your parents, whether they are Muslims, they are non-Muslims, you must obey them. If you fail to obey your parents because they are non-Muslim, that can equally make you to lose that message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Parents must be obeyed. Allah said, "In jahadaka an tushrika bi." That means Allah is aware that these parents are talking about, they are non-Muslims. Was not inside the walidahi ihsana. Another part is what? Husna and Ankabut. Let's look at that the one that came in Surah Luqman. And Luqman was saying that was not inside the walidahi hamalat ummuhu wahanan ala wahanin wa fisaluhu fi amal anishkuri wa walika ilayhi wa in jahadaka ala an tushrika bi. They are now forcing you into committing shirk. Allah said that is al-faraq. Do not obey them in that. They want you to do what? Shirk. Say don't obey them. Is that the end of the verse? Allah said what? You should still be kind to them. وَصَيْمَ فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعَرُوفًا. Relate in a nice way with them while on earth. Allah Ta'ala said what? and you should follow the path of those that return their face to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala of the verse. Even though they are non-Muslims, you must obey them. You must be kind and respectful to them. If you do otherwise, Allah Ta'ala will have a very big case with you. Allah Ta'ala is our artist. I think that's all right. Allah Ta'ala is our artist. All Allah Ta'ala take all of us back safely to our destinations. Yeah? Last question. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, please.
My question is, was this one while you are really writing the things that one needs to ask regarding the last one, that is how you get your income and how you spend it. So I'm asking we that are starting our education now, they have to like this going after Ramadan, we decide to go home, to travel home, but the only permission we get is from our CPS. But before we were told that we have to get it from because they are so. Then now we travel. What? How about the income that we get after?
The truth of the matter is, we all know what is right. Right? Do what is right to the best of your ability. You can meet your PPA people, they permit you, you go. I know at one SAP, of course, people will go and even what tell the LI to call him or what and make some backyard arrangements that we shall see. You have your what do you call it, your clearance ahead of time or your clearance before time. So all those things are there. One should try as much as he can to clean his conscience. Allah Ta'ala is watching over our face. One should try and do what is right. The PPA, that's where you served, you try and let them understand that you want to travel. If they permit you to go, of course you are covered. You understand? So may Allah Ta'ala make it easy for all of us. Everybody knows what is right. So we say that the right thing is what your mind is satisfied with. You don't have any doubts when you do it. But don't doubt it, I'm not too comfortable. You know that something is fishing somewhere. Allah Ta'ala grant us the message results and see from your part.
Now, sorry, what about praying for parents who are not Muslims?
Praying for parents that are non-Muslim, Quran have solved that. Nabiullah Ibrahim told his dad that I'm going to pray for you. He told him. But Allah Ta'ala said in the Quran, فَلَمَّا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ أَنَّهُ عَدُوٌّ لِلَّهِ تَبَرَّأَ مِنْهُ. When it becomes so glaring to him that his father is an open enemy to Allah, what happened? He has to abandon and leave him. There's nothing he could do. But before he told him, لَأَسْتَغْفِرَنَّ لَكَ وَمَا أَمْلِكُ لَكَ مِنَ اللَّهِ مِنْ شَيْءٍ. My father, I want Allah to forgive you with all that I can do. But Allah said when it was clear to him that his father is not a type to seek forgiveness for, he has to stop praying for him. Because even if you pray for him, there is nothing to come back. In fact, it's even haram for you to pray. When Abu Talib, that is the uncle of the Rasul, he helped Islam a lot. A lot. At the point of death, Rasul met him. He said, Ya Am, my uncle, La ilaha illallah. Utter the kalimatu shahada, kalimatun ahajju laka biha indallah. I will use that to defend you before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Other kuffar were there. They say, Ataragabu an millati Abdul Muttalib. At the point of death, you want to abandon the path of your forefathers to follow a small boy? He called the business assembly. He said, I know you are on the right path, but I'm very, very sorry, please. I don't want to die and you'll be saying that I neglected my forefathers. He died as a what? As a non-Muslim. Allah told the Rasul, Innaka la tahdi man ahbabta. It's a lesson to let you that, oh Rasul, you cannot guide the one you love. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي مَنْ يَشَاءُ. Allah guides those he wish. وَهُوَ أَعْلَمُ بِالْمُهْتَدِينَ, because he knows those to guide. Rasul said, لَأَسْتَغْفِرَنَّ لَكَ مَا لَمْ أُنْهَ عَنْكَ. I will surely ask Allah to forgive you, provided I was not prohibited from doing that. Allah told him, don't pray for them any longer. And Rasul have to stop. He couldn't go ahead to pray for Abu Talib. Allah Ta'ala see us all through.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We have come to the end of this segment. Inshallah, the rest facilitator is waiting us outside. We ask him to only come and سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Start.
So Alhamdulillah, صار أكسنا بركاته.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Yeah, we are very sorry for the break. And inshallah, we are going to call on our next lecturer in person of our grand patron, our able sheikh, our mentor, our brother, our father, in person of Malam Abu Bakr Siddiq Radio. And inshallah, the next topic we are going to be discussing about is capacity building. Our guest lecturer is going to do justice to that right now, inshallah. Let us bring out our material for the capacity building.
Have you shared it?
Yes, you have said shared it yesterday.
Let me see the timetable. When is life after divorce coming?
Capacity building supposed to be system.
Yes, it's yesterday we swap with Abu Jamla.
Yes.
In the timetable, after, okay, in the evening.
Yeah. I think is coming in the evening.
It's coming in the evening?
Yeah, that's
No,
because
he's coming for the P and A, question and answers. Because he was to use my capacity building. Okay, we start within one period. Capacity building. Then I think he was having this one.
yes, that's why you
So
have
we
to
swap.
use both of this time.
This time, okay, this both.
Then you come on this time again. That's what they are making.
What I want to know is, Abu Jamla do not have time here again.
He has to
Let's be around one.
yes.
If it is after accident, my life after divorce has been taken.
Yeah, we should
Then
go to the
where is
period.
this one now? The capacity
But you
building.
want to take the practical.
No, capacity building.
Yes, it is coming down here.
Then which time again?
Then this one after you will come in the time of period.
It will come like this.
Yes.
You people stole one of my period.
My divorce.
Okay, one. No?
Namasa Shivat. Which one are you?
It's like it's like I'm prepared for life after divorce
Yes.
first. I think.
You should go for life.
Yes, I'll go life after divorce first before I talk about capacity building. No. Life after divorce?
Alright, inshallah, there's going to be a little bit diversion from the topic, from capacity building to life after divorce. So, inshallah, that is what we are going to be embarking on.
Amir, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الحمد لله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Are we set and ready? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم بسم الله الحمد لله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praises is due to Allah. We thank Him Allah that He spare our life on the path of the day. May Allah increase us in our iman, and may Allah make us to die among people that believe. I think this is the third day, right? The last day, and I hope we have been learning, right? Is there anyone that have come and is trying to go back empty? So may Allah ease our fears, and we pray the Mcan candidates will go back and do a step down. All these things that you are learning, please find a time in the talim of Mcan. Also pass the information that you have learned here, inshallah. May Allah also increase our zonal amir. Madam Umar, just here, alhamdulillah, he has been steadfast for him to bring out such idea. Although the idea has been there, but for some while it is died. But alhamdulillah, Allah has used him to reawaken the idea. We pray the next people that will come on board, they will also continue his drive. Before going on my topic, life after divorce, I want to please our topic is going to be life after divorce. This is not a premarital issue, but why? I'm going to talk about it later. Amir intentionally he was emphasizing life after divorce, life after divorce, and it could be based on the reason of the high rise of divorce in our society. On daily basis, divorce is go high. Before I talk about life after divorce, why is premarital counseling so important in our life? Why are we spending hours talking about premarital counseling? Why, once I'm 30 years, I'll just get married? Now, the need for premarital counseling is very important and cannot be overemphasized in our life because 70% of the Muslim youth, when they are planning for their wedding or for the marriage, they give 95% of their energy, time, resources is being injected in how to get a professional DJ, how to get a professional photographer, how to get a shobi, color of the day, the venue. We have seen people spending millions of naira just for 2 hours events for the wedding. We have seen where both parents will be planning for the marriage, 2 years planning. I should be for the mothers, I should be for bride, and name it, different group. And we have seen somebody trying to get the professional MC. Now, if you look, all this, the box, the clothing, the decorations, everything, if you look, all these things is just preparation for the wedding. And the wedding is just an hour event. In the northern society, it's just 15 minutes event. The highest that your wedding could hold is 2 hours event.
That is the highest. Now, how many of us plan for the marriage itself? The wedding is the day, but life after the wedding, we never get prepared about it. And the basis of the divorce have started because you never even planned for the marriage. He who failed to plan to fail automatically. Yes, you want to get married. Yes, I have BSc. Yes, I'm 30 years old. But what do you know about marriage? What are the responsibilities that are coming in the marriage? What are the expectations that are coming? If you are not prepared for it, then how will you overcome it? Yes, marriage is an act of ibadah, and you just enter it. Salah is an act of ibadah. Do you just start praying? Zakat, do you just start giving? The angel gave Ya Rasulullah orientation. Before he even said Akimu Salah or Zakah, he said what? Ikra. Read. How many books have you read about marriage? I'm not talking about the novels, the Western ideological issue of marriage. No. Islamic oriented issue about marriage. And books, videos. How many? How many scholars have you been to sit with them and learn about marriage? How many of us even learn from our parents? See where your parents have made mistakes, then you adjust. In fact, this is one of the best ways to even learn about marriage. It's more of practical. And if you look, that's why most of my talk, I look at things from the practical aspects. 70% of my talk is more on practical aspects about it. The following are questions for you to address. The following are questions for two of you that are intending to go into the marriage institution. You must ask yourself, you must talk about it, and you must agree about them. One is, if you are making your calls, these are issues that you should be discussing with your partner. Not have you eaten? Yes, I ate spaghetti and beans. Okay. What are you wearing? This. Some of us will even be talking about ball. You talk about events that is not even related in the marriage. It's not it's not about you going to just 2 hours on phone. No. What are you talking on? Is the communication going to yield more understanding? And like I said, marriage is all about understanding. Once there is understanding, everything will be easy. But as long as there is no understanding, nothing will go well. Number one, ask your partner, ask your spouse, ask your prospective spouse, how are we going to argue? Arguments are inevitable in marriage. How are you going to argue? And how are you going to resolve your arguments? Conflict. Conflict is inevitable in the marriage. In fact, if conflict is managed well, it brings better understanding. Because in terms of conflict, the real habit comes out. You do something wrong to me, I will be sincere to tell you that what, from my expression, you know that I don't like this. Are you going to still repeat that same mistake? Are you? No. It's only in conflict that you understand. Now, it's not the conflict that matters, but how are you going to resolve the conflict? With your fiancé, you talk once in a week or you talk on daily basis, but is one party raising voice against the other? The guy is talking, the girl is talking. They are shouting upon their voices. If this is happening in your relationship, then that is a red flag. That is a problem. There is supposed to be respect between the two parties. If one person is talking, the other one should be what? Listening. But if two of you are talking, are you going to understand yourself? If two talks at the same time, understanding will not come in. Now, this should be the standard you set in your communication while you are talking with your intended partner. Don't raise voices against each other. Another aspect again that you should also look into is, to what degree do you feel free to share your ideology with your partner? Is it a one-man relationship? Like the guy will just call in, Aisha, this is what I want, let's do like this, and he end his call. Even when she wants to like bring her own voice, he close down there. And brothers, please, you need to give them a space to also bring their own ideas. Don't assume. Do not put them in boxes of gender. She's a lady, how can she advise me? What did she know? This is just African way of thinking that male gender is always superior than the female gender. Psychologically, ladies think from logic and emotional, while men think logically. There are some decisions that need emotional touch. You don't have that emotional touch. And I said, I think day before yesterday, we looked at the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where he was seeking advice from his wife. Are you better than him? Are you better than him? He was accepting advice from his wife. He was accepting advice from his Sahaba. And Allah said, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Now, the girl that you want to marry, the mother of your kids in the future, you don't allow her to have a say in the relationship. It's just a woman, I'm the man of the house. Even when you are married, there are decisions that if you want to make, table it out for her, and she will give you one of the perfect advices. Do not put them in that box. This is not sunnah. Involve them. They should also have a say in the relationship. How will you maintain love after marriage? Yes, like I said, we are talking about 5 love language. The aims of that topic is to prepare you on how to sustain love after the wedding. And we brought the research. Psychologically, the romantic obsessive, that sha'awa most times is 2 years, and that is all. 2 years. Now, what will sustain the romantic aspect of your home? And they are very simple. If you go back to love of gift, love of this, that, inshallah, it will sustain. Bathing together with your wife, kissing her before you go out, the hugging, the cuddling, the kisses, making statements that will not downgrade her. Also, making statements that will motivate him to do more. Kind words. Do not make statements that the other party will always feel regretted, to feel inferior in the relationship. No. Kind words. This mouth, it has the power to start a war, and it can also end a war. Make sure before you make a statement to your partner, weigh them and see, will my partner going to be happy with the statement? How will the statement affect the relationship? Another very important point that we must work on, and very critical, is the financial plan. Do you have a debt? Do you have a debt? If you have a debt, tell your fiancé that I have a debt. Why? Because after wedding, when you marry, his debt is her debt, and her debt is his own debt. If you say no, na your own debt, yes, but if they imprison him, will you not be cooking and taking food to the place? Are you not going to be begging, looking for a lawyer? You know you have the peace of mind. Automatically, you are in the debt already. If they come and arrest your wife, how far? Who pays the bill? You pay them. So your debt is his own debt. Your own debt is her own. Make sure you inform, so that it should not be after wedding that you have a debt, and the other party will feel you never carried him or her along, and now you want me to pay the consequences of it. That you have to open up everything. Everything, open up. Do not hide things. And on this note, if I'm saying that you have a debt, how many of us will want to like go for debt to marry? Collect loan to marry? Who told you? Marriage is expenditure in nature. You spend every day in marriage. Brother God, Is there a day that you don't spend at home? You spend every day. Brothers, never do the mistake to take a loan or contribution or loan or if a friend help you out, you want to know, don't. You better do the wedding according to your capability. You don't need to impress anybody. And I've never seen an award given to the best wedding up to now. This award. My friend in the office, 2 weeks to his wedding. Ah, Ustaz, I've not bought cow. I need like 200,000 naira. This, I've not rent house. That, please, I want to go and collect loan from cooperative business. I said, Fred, never think about it. And as long as I am alive, I will never allow you to take loan. Ustaz, what do you want me to do? What type of this? I said, make the worker on Allah. Yes, I know, but where will I get the money? I said, calm down. Money will come. I said, help. Allah says, وَمَا يَتَقِ اللَّهَ the help, you just fear Allah, the help will come. And most times it comes from where you never expect. He was so angry with me, we almost fought in the office. I said, if you like, be angry with me. That one, wallahi, you are not going to take anything. Next day he comes to office, he was not talking to me. Yes, it reached that because he was so close to me. I refused that he take that loan. We went to his wedding. It was after the wedding he opened up. He said, wallahi, a day in the night, somebody called him from Abuja. He sent money for the cow. He said in less than 30 minutes, he got 200 plus. He did wedding with some change. So never, don't. Man Abdullah, are you with me? Don't. Don't. The money will come. Yes, it will be as if the time is come, nothing is forthcoming. Most people that will help you, they don't want to help you a month to 2 weeks to, you will spend it. Most times it comes 9 minutes. And after your wedding, there are some credit alert that you see, you will not even know they send that. Brother God, have you experienced that? Somebody will send money into your account, you don't even know who sent him. It is a promise from Allah. And Allah said that when you make intention, you want to marry to safeguard yourself from zina. He said, what? We are going to enrich you. And by Allah, I can share my own practical experience about it. 1 week too, I was to take wedding card to Abuja to share it myself, but I don't have the transport to leave a woman to Abuja. My brother-in-law was insisting that I should not send that card through Waybill. I must go there in person. I had no option than to send. But two days too. On Friday, I just received a call from one organization. They want marital counseling in Abuja. And I was to go to Abuja. I don't have transport to go to Abuja. I said, good, fine, but I don't have transport. No, don't worry, send your account number. They sent 5K. And I went. I lodged in my uncle's house. He asked me in the night, what have you done? I said, I've done this, but the dowry, this is not there. He said, how much? I told him the price. He said, send me her account number. And he paid into her account. And I married, I was having 100 plus in my account as change. Never rush yourself into it. Your own. Do your human efforts, hustle, pray, then put the work on Allah. Yes, hustle. No, you have to hustle. Wallahi, they are very expensive. They are very expensive. And you have to hustle. A bit from my practical. Then I was receiving 30,000 as salary. I was saving 25,000 for my marriage. I was spending 5,000 like in a month. Yes, and this is 20 what? When I was in Aiba, I almost become like a student in their school. I work in a government which is very close to their school. I left Kano, the city of Kano, to come and work in a village just to get a source of income to marry. Don't cross your leg down and say your uncle sponsor or your dad don't. Put your hustle, then pray. then tawakkal ala Allah, then it will come inshallah. So now, ask yourself, instead of spending 400,000 naira on the wedding, why don't you two of you sit down and set up a business that will support you after wedding? Instead of, yes, yes, you see, they are interested. Sometimes it's not that our brothers are not ready, they are ready to marry you out, but it's that financial strength. If only you can come down and try to be like Nana Khadija to the prophet, they will marry you. I'm speaking on their behalf. If you are going to act like the Nana Khadija to the prophet, definitely there will people as soon as possible. We'll start going to Osun for one brother Nika next month, another state, right? We'll be going around because it pains me that Mcan brothers are not picking the Mcan sisters. Wallah, it pains me. Allah is our case. Another thing again is course, when your spouse make mistakes, what do you want to hear as an apology? If I do something wrong to you, what do you want me to say or do that means I'm sorry? As for me and my darling, Alhamdulillah, we chose that when one wrong each other, a kiss on the forehead means I'm sorry. And that's all. And it just helps. There's my privacy, Mr. Man. Yes. A kiss on the forehead means I'm sorry. Ladies, men have pride. We have ego. It's not very easy for us to come, yeah, sorry, please, I will not do it again. No, it's very hard. But then there are actions that they will do, which means I'm sorry. You may come and say, is it that small thing that you're angry? What he's saying is, I'm sorry. When you come, you say, please get me a cup of water. Him sending you means I'm sorry. But he will not come and say, I'm sorry, no. But he will do some actions, some indirectly, sorry. So just understand, he's saying, I'm sorry. Now, or will you take the Tawbat al-Nasuhan principle of forgiveness? You forgive and that is all. You I forgive you, not that they said sorry, you agree, but when something comes on, they say, even day before yesterday, you did that. Even last 2 weeks, you did that. No. It goes. Another very important is, what roles do culture plays in your life? Either you like it or not. If you like, say you are Ahlus Sunnah, you are this, right? Culture have an impact in your marriage. Both families sit down. What's your culture? What's the culture of your home? What is the family orientation? Know each other and see how does conflict affect your life. Then you create balance. And this especially for those that are going for intertribal marriage. Somebody you are dating, a Yoruba lady, you never maybe courtship, you have spent 1 year, 2 years before you got married. Is on the wedding day that you call the scholar, Sheikh, what is the ruling of squatting down or lying down in the presence of your in-law? You are supposed to know this before you even start the game. In their culture, you must lie down as an in-law. You should know this before you even start. Now, you do not make research on the culture. This poor lady, you have affected her with your love on her. Then on that day, you are going to break that relationship. Say, no, I don't want to lie down. Let the marriage just be. And you cut the relationship. Please don't go far before you have all this orientation, so that you don't cause unnecessary heartbreak. I think one of the first things, you should know the culture of their society. And culture is very strong. There is a culture, I think, is it in Adama, thereabouts. They said part of their culture, when you marry their daughter have to run from your house like twice. As in, she'll sneak and run away back to her daddy's house. Then you will now pack your friends and go and beg, then she'll come back. Then another day again, she'll run back again. Now, that symbolizes that she's showing, is it gratitude or the dignity of her family? But if she did not run away, it means she's pleased with the husband than her family. Now, if you are not aware of this type of culture, Come back from office, darling, nobody. Why are you in my daddy's house? Okay, to stay here. I divorce you. It can break. Culture plays a vital role. Then another thing is, do you have a friend of the opposite gender? You are married and you have opposite gender that will still be keeping in touch. Especially now that we have one Western ideology, bestie, right? You have bestie and now you are married and you want to still to be bestie somebody's bestie. You understand? So you have to like now this bestie is capable of breaking your marriage. Now, if you must have a relationship with the opposite gender, one, you will have to make it official. Is it official? Is there a need? Yes. In the office, you cannot like bring the line that man will not talk to a woman in the office. No. This is official relationship. And your meeting has to be in the same building, the workplaces. But then when you are saying yes, it's official relationship and you are trying to meet 6 p.m., 8 p.m., this is unofficial. Now, and then when you want to see the opposite gender, do you make it in public or in private? You are going to meet in a hotel or in a restaurant or something like that. This gives room for suspicious. And a lot of marriages have died because of suspicious. May Allah is our fears. And again, what is the purpose of the relationship? Because of time, I'm going to skip some things. Then you must agree on all what you have discussed. Then you should also discuss where are you going to keep your wife. Are you going to marry her into the family house? God has please inform her from day one. Don't like you said, inshallah, you are going to stay in our family house, and she said no. You say, okay, I'm going to rent a house for you. After marriage, 6 months, when the rent expires, you refuse to renew the rent. Then you now force her to the family house. That is the beginning of the problem. Do not make promises that you know you are not going to fulfill. If you tell her that I want you to stay in the family house, she said no. Try to convince her. Sweet words. Tell her my mom is old, my dad are old. I'm the only son, and or I have the role to play. Give her reasons why she should be. And if she feels that she don't want to stay with the family, with your family people, because of maybe past experience or what she have read, then good fine. It's better you end the relationship. If you can sacrifice leaving your parents, she cannot sacrifice staying with your parents, then I think it's better you don't even go into it, rather than forcing each other into an institution where there will be no understanding. Please, don't say I love her so well. If you deceive a lady, if you make a promise to a lady, even though it's 500 years, it's still fresh in her mind. Am I wrong, lady? Are you working? Are you going to work after marriage, after the wedding? She has to be a BSc, and she has been hoping to work. And you maybe in your own ideologies, if my wife will not work, please bring it out, ladies. Before you go into the marriage, speak it out. I have goals. This is what I want to achieve. Is he going to allow you to work? He says no. You feel yes. He says no. You feel yes. You compromise. If you cannot compromise on something, then good fine. Like as for me, she said she wants to work. I said no, you will not work. She said yes. I said no. But we concluded, okay, business, work from home, set up a business. You compromise. To resolve a conflict, there must be compromise from a party. And the marriage itself is all about sacrifice. Yes, I want to be a banker. And your husband says, no, I don't want you to be a banker. Sometimes we just have to let go on some things. But don't deceive each other into it. Don't deceive each other into it. Then you have to also discuss on how you are going to train your child. I wish the timetable capture child upbringing in the Islamic book. This is one of my best topics. I thought I was having additional time. I could have replaced one of it. Both parties have to like agree on how to raise a child. because the essence of the family institution is orientation. On the saying of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where he says, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Save yourself and save your family from Jahannama. This is the primary duty of the family institution. If the family institution is not capable of saving itself and the children from Jahannama, then the essence of the family has not been achieved. All the working, all the hustling and everything is to save ourselves from Jahannama. Then another very important is the medical aspect, the genotype. You need to know the genotype. Do you have one serious sickness that comes once in a while? Let your partner know about it. Do you have issue of gene? Open up. It's not an issue. Open up. It's going to make him to understand you better. Medical issue, the blood group, genotype, meet a medical personnel and he's going to tell you the type of test that you should undergo before you go into the marriage institution. In marriage, if you make Allah the goal rather than your ego, your marriage will work. If you make Allah your goal, not your ego, not I'm right, not I don't want to feel I'm wrong, but if you make Allah your goal, inshallah, you are going to have an ideal family. Alhamdulillah, these are the things. And in an effective premarital counseling, all this that I mentioned, each one is a topic for a day. Each one is a topic for a day. So this is the summary of what you are expected from their premarital counseling. And inshallah, on your own, please pick them down, make research. If you like, chat me up. We can be discussing each of these. Inshallah, is going to bring a positive impact in your relationship. Anything that I say that is good is from Allah, and anything that I say that is wrong is from me. May Allah make it easy for us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Stop it. Stop it. I wanted to be off camera. I want it off. Send out just 5 minutes. Okay. Now, I'm not finished yet. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The topic is life after divorce, and it's a very emotional topic, especially ladies. Please, nobody should cry for me. Please, it's very emotional. Life after divorce, and it affects you. Be strong. Nobody should cry. If you cry, you will pay me 500.